Hello, this video will cover ACT Test 22 and reading section. Okay, first two passages I'm going to go with. Okay, let's go over this passage. Read the question first. Following, describe the structure of the passage. And then following statement, describe overall attitude. And then infer the passage that women a strong desire attain which of the following qualities for dream. So attain quality for dream. And then throughout the passage, image of door is used primarily metaphor of boundary between. First paragraph, 5:13. Oops, 5. And then which of the following statements about amniotic dream are supported? So women's worries. And then this approach to dreaming narrative dream is best described. Narrator's dream. 58, humor 9. 58, where's the dream? Humor. Humor. 10, passage Kafka as someone. Okay, let's go to this one now. Adopt a short story, The Threshold. It says, woman never dream, and this makes her intensely miserable. Never dream, miserable. She think by the not dream, she's unaware of things about herself, and that dream would surely give her. She doesn't have the door of dreams that open, every night to question certainty of the day. She stays in threshold, the door is always closed, and the refusing entrance tell that in itself is dream, nightmare. And from the door which is not open, push the latch, but the truth door to the nightmare doesn't have the latch, and that is totally surface brown. Okay, 5. Under description, nightmare narrator's comment on this one is, so it says something about, but in truth, the door of the nightmare doesn't have latch, or this totally surface brown, this one, our bro, strike the body without echo. So it's like really bad. Explain cause. Okay, hopelessness. Intensify it, because it doesn't have latch, not even like they can go in. And no such thing as a door without a key. She tells me that stubborn resistance of one who does not dream. There are in dreams, I tell her, in dreams doors don't open, rivers run dry, mountains turn around in circle, telephone are made stone, elevators stop in middle of floors, and they go move, screen objects lose their functionality in dreams in order to become obstacles, or they have their own laws that they don't know anything about. She thinks that the woman who does not dream is enemy of waking women because she robs her of parts of herself and takes away the wild excitement of revelation when we think we have discovered something that we didn't know before. So, okay. A dream is a piece of writing. She said, a work I don't know how to write and makes me different from others, all the human beings and animal who dreams. She is like a tired traveler who stops at the threshold. It says stationary as a plant. In order to console her, it's like, soothe. I tell her perhaps she is too tired to cross through the doorway. Maybe she spends so much time looking for her dream before falling asleep she doesn't see image They appear because exhausted has made her close those eyes inside of her eyes when sleep. Two pairs of eyes, superficial eyes. The accustomed see this, and in dreams eye when the former close, the later open up. She is a traveler on the long trip, stop at the threshold, dread, fatigue, tired again, no longer pass over to the other side across the river and border close. I wish I could open them. She simply her my dream, and so ask me, tell her my dream. And I know that later, in the privacy of room with the light out, hiding, she will try to dream my dream. But to dream someone else's dream is harder than writing someone else's story. Her failure filled her with irritation. She thinks I have power that she doesn't have. This brings out her envy and bad humor. So there's like envy and bad humor, which is sort of negative thing that you can find. Humor is negative things. Uh, Bad mood, it makes sense. So see, and us and curiosity is halfway satisfied when I finish telling her the last one. To tell dream is one of the most difficult area. Perhaps author Kafka was able to do so. So which means it's most difficult. Only Kafka can do it without spoiling the mystery. So it sounds like Kafka is one of the best one for like telling the dream. So number 10, describe Kafka. H. Kafka can only do this thing. And then just as the children stand by, slight change, love, repetition. So they don't, and then instead tell the two dreams, details, I don't know, strange form, happen, road, and this is this. The one she likes the best is an amniotic dream, the dream of water. I walk under the straight line that above my head, everything beneath is clear. Water doesn't make me wet and any weight. So amniotic dream, I believe that was, where is it? Here, number 6, statement of amniotic dream is supposed to passage. It is narrated a favorite dream. The woman is particularly fond of hearing it related. Okay. I don't know. Let me just continue to read. I work on the temp, and then I eat, drink. Okay. In turn, she would like to dream flying or slipping from tree to treeway. About amniotic dream one more time. Water walking. Water doesn't make me wet, and this you don't see it and feel it. I am walking on the ground, damp, where the white shirt and dark pants and fish are swimming all around me. I eat, drink under the water, but I never swim, float because water is just like air. I breathe in naturally. The line above my head is limit, never crossed. Okay, let's go back to this one again. Favorite dream, it doesn't say anything about. Particular fond of hearing, maybe. Never dream is dream many times. No. Does a dream is woman most strongly desired? Not really. I think this is G. Particularly fond of hearing. Because it says the one she likes best is amniotic dream. So that's why, that's like whatever she likes to do it. Okay, let me see. Number 7, woman worried. All begin. I think this is D. I think I see from somewhere here. Yeah, you're different from others. And the narrator's dream is best described as confrontation, powerful, secretive. It says privacy somewhere, like right here, line 52, privacy of. Yeah. Let's do everything else. Which of the following? The structure of the passage. It begins with whatever the description of like how limited itself, right? And then later on, it talks about like something that possible, like whatever their dreams. Okay, let me see. Dialogue between two people, both relate to dream, almost equal amount of detail. No. The commentator's perspective on the woman revealed primarily through the narrator's report their conversation. Probably this is chance sketch to people's no details to narration. No, this is more about the attitude toward dream was frustrated, despairing while narrator also supporting because they think that the dreams are not allowed to them attain local relaxation, self-awareness, and entertainment. Obviously, self-awareness, they get to learn something. Image Itan used the metaphor of boundary. Dream or not dream, yeah. J. Okay, let's move on then. Next one. So again, same thing, we go straight to the question first. Author most nearly characterized the role of climate change. Course of history, main idea, first paragraph. So 12, and then 1328. 1454. 7515. 79 16. And then 17. Except Little Ice Age. Also produced Little Ice Age, climate shift. Not listed. Let's see, Little Ice Age. So once we have a Little Ice Age, there are a lot of questions that we answered. Abnormally, which means anomaly, which means this is not normal. Okay, let's read. Speaking the Ice Age, mind turned to this mammoth. Little Ice Age was far from the deep freeze. So this is a pretty recent one, right? I think instead of irregular seesaw, rapid climate shift driven by complex and still little understood interaction between the atmosphere and ocean. The seesaw brought cycles of intensely cold winters and easterly winds, then switched abruptly to years of heavy spring and early summer rains, mild winters and early summer rains, mild winter and frequent Atlantic storm and period of drought. And this is all symptom, whatever situation, Little Ice Age, summer heat wave. Little Ice Age was endless zigzag climatic shifts, few lasting more than quarter century. Today's prolonged warming is an anomaly. So it's 12. First paragraph, Little Ice Age is cooling Mama Center was marked a frequent short period shift. Yeah, H, because it says that at the end. And the zigzag climate few last more than quarter, so prolonged warming. And then also one of the questions talks about the shift, right? Here, 18. The author called interaction produce Little Ice Age shift. I think, let me see. It says something that, yeah, line 6, it says something about complex, not well understood, yeah. And then reconstructing the climate change of past is extremely difficult because reliable instrument record are but a few centuries old. The earlier time we have but are called proxy records reconstructed from incomplete written accounts, tree rings, and ice. So lack of sources to figure out the climate change. Time hands something kept, whether a long period. Conics, like those of 18th century, diarist John Evelyn, the monastery scribes, invaluable, which is really valuable, okay. Priceless is invaluable for their remarks on unusual weather, but their usefulness in making comparison is limited. Okay, so 13. The worst rainstorm in memory, example. Worst rainstorm in memory, like the hundreds of questions. To not accurate metaphoric meteorological record, not accurate. Okay, even if it's made a deep impression at the time. Okay, limited. From the conscious, many New Yorkers still vividly remember the great heat wave summer 1999, but it soon faded from the collective memories. So okay. The generation ago, we had generalized impression that was ice age climate compiled in painstaking care from the bewildering array of historical sources, and then for today, the scatter of three-ring records. Tree-ring records have become hundreds of dots throughout this, many from South Square to amplify the switch. We can now track the Little Ice Age as intricate tapestry of short-term shift rippled along the European society during the time. Okay, French. Modern Europe 14. Indicate a common factor event a period of this time took place during the Little Ice Age, 50 to 54. It says something about here, like right there, shift, and then, like, you know, Little Ice Age, egg, intricate tapestry, short period of time. So this is Little Ice Age. Yeah. And then next one. To what extent the climate shift change the course of European history? Many archaeologists explain climate change human society. So could region environment determine notion of major agriculture and academic generosity. And then direct and creative way to point to topple government, nor, however, the climate change is something that you can totally ignore. Okay. Into the 19th century, millions of European peasants lived subsistence level. The survival depended on crop yield. Okay, and good and good for death and insufficient food, a powerful motivated human being, and then this is okay. 15. Author nearly mean that during Ice Age, the food is the one. Okay. Yeah, this is like the one food, like sufficient, insufficient food. Considering for instance, the food crisis that engulfed Europe during the Great Hunger of this time. Food dearth means the lack of 1741, and then the year without summer, mention only a few. The crises in themselves not threaten the continued existence of European civilization, but they surely play an important role in formation of modern Europe. Some of these crises result from the climate shift, from the human inaptitude, not capability, disastrous economic political policy, many of a combination of all three. Environmental determinism may be intellectually bankrupt, but climate change is ignored player in the historical stage. Okay, here 16 first. Let's do 16 first. Author event listed here is show how weather-related disaster threat. Okay, J. Because it says that like modern Europe. I think I underlined something. Right here, 83. Okay, 11. The author most characterized role of climate in the course of history is neither important nor safely disregarded. I think it says yeah, you cannot, because it says dirty academia for generalization, and then you certainly cannot argue climate drove history as directly causative way to topple government, nor, however, the climate change is something that you can totally ignore. So you cannot ignore. Also, we don't know for sure. So it's like a 17 literal ice age from cause is human inactivity, bad policy. No, D is no. It says like here at the end. Ineptitude is here too, and then not listed the following climate that I say heavy spring. It was here, like this part, late summer, wild winter, and all such stuff. It was a cold, drought, mild winters, and unusually calm. Unusually calm ocean doesn't make sense because it says something about storm. I mean the Atlantic storms, right? 9/11. The normal daily weather. Today's prolonged warming. Yeah, G. That's what it says. Here, prolonged warming is anomaly. Normally. We move on to next passage. Oops. So same thing that we're gonna go to question first and then do this. Which of the following sentence express the main idea? Okay, and then not answered. Important says Armstrong's most important contribution. 29, 24. And then accept Armstrong endurance, young magician. Last paragraph, Armstrong 26. Last paragraph is the third image of Armstrong attempt to promote 27. Last paragraph 2. 28, which following cities the last one Armstrong stayed with. 57, 29. 71, 30. Okay, says which you join. Tin Pan Alley is famous as composers and publisher in popular music. Jazz trumpeter and singer Louis Armstrong. A certain level of individuality in music interpretation is radical than the Susan Western plays the musical theme. Armstrong improvised an arrangement to boldly rehearse and drop notes and didn't want to play, adding others, and improvisation brought the role of jazz soloist to the fore, and then immaculate logic is improved melody for rhythm, the says big band. His harmony innovation fellow trumpeters were the most brilliant history of music in Peter Howe, particular sound of the blues through the Tin Pan Alley popular music tune without abandoning their harmonic rhythms to two different music influences. During the 1920s and 30s, Armstrong reputation get to see in hometown New Orleans. Okay, travels Chicago now, and then King Oliver, and then New York. I went to returned to music. Armstrong returned Chicago, then finally settled in New York. So 1929 settled in New York. New York is last one then, because back and forth. Okay. And then 24. G. 530s. Popular singing, jazz uses Tin Pan Alley introduces this repertoire for the broad and then soft to this. Sanders. New spirit of free willing and protecting this. Like all the innovation, Armstrong was also called upon to perform Superman beats. Armstrong and endless energy can play this new art instruments asserted the endurance any trumpet player for lived. I believe there's one question about endurance right here. Young magician. He plays 5 shows. C notes. Besides musician scales, support on trumpets. Okay, I think I can answer this one too. Endurance as a young musician, except he once managed to play for all, like, entire night. No, there's nothing to do with this one. In the beginning, it says something about that, and then high note is also like here, and then 5 show a day. It says 5 shows a day here, and then 29 suggests that Armstrong high developed skill. Yeah, obviously, it says that so pronounced trumpetist. I mean, this is all like about his skill, like from the earlier, right? So from the 52, 53. By his death, 1971, Armstrong influenced American music and then instrumental vocal. 30 years talking on this, realize differences. I get so I put Louis Armstrong on this. Okay, 30, question 30. Let's paragraphs. How orchestra birth is. Okay. It says something about the I can put my Louis Armstrong influence in without them even knowing it. So which is that's unconsciousness. The last one, write down. Newton's experience meant everything beyond all that Armstrong wants to give this listener just joy. Armstrong never failed to project joy profound between anecdotes those daily. There's a determination, swallow the experience all this is okay. 26 and 27, 26. All the following is strong desire, reshape. No, he didn't have anything like this. So it's not physics and triple there was a range of this. There's no, yeah. 27 on the main point, last paragraph of the music attempt to promote his, but just pleasure, because it says pleasure music giving. And then 22, not answered. In terms of Western music history, so popularized, which of the chord masters must change. No, J didn't really say. Armstrong most of the contributing music was improvisation. Yeah, in the beginning he talks about it. Okay, he answers everything. Okay, move on. So same thing, we go to question the illness, one set of illness would have caused by, except this 45 was 32. Also 45, 33. According to study shows volunteer experience increased visual cortex activity. Last paragraph, 35. Between yin and yang. Balance between yin and yang. Person yang. Except 49. Concentrated. 38. Terms about to express the placebo effect with their following. Last paragraph, author expert believes scientists open new limit of research. 40. Okay, the acupuncture and other form of traditional Chinese medicine has won more than 4,000. Basic key source of movement, ranging, key flow, key cause, body malfunction, stagnation. Okay, I think this is illness. Illness, a key says change in temperature. So C doesn't say anything about temperature. Acupoints, including obvious immune system, another integral concentration. Tension between two yin and yang, which is balance disrupted, therefore people were sick. Yin condition reflect lack of ki, pale face, and this is excessive ki, red face, and all that stuff. Okay, let's see 36. Balance ki, person, emotional skill, level key. Then 37, I can do this one. Yang condition. Pale. Yang is not pale. It's a red face. Full of energy. You can think it is. Doctor license for the meaning of acupuncture treatment. This is according to the neuroscientist. Insert needle into acupressure nerve, the underlying. Some researchers believe that there's some impulse in spinal cord, the primary part of brain. The system is the middle brain, and the gland is similarly that release endorphins. Or mono and this chemical pain signal. Okay, 32. The nerve system resulting signal being the brain. Yeah, F. Brain, it says right here. And then 33. Successful accumulated treatment, which is following condition. Color vision, no, painkiller, so C. The endorphin story. Concentrate. So it says mapped over thousands of years, and then spots where nerves are concentrated, put together. Yeah, H. Extremely useful. Nausea caused pregnancy, and then not endorphin. That's not endorphin system. Cho found this little pro and zero effect I, your system of So to eliminate the possible placebo effect shows most non-occupancy victal during no response to the cortex. Okay. And then placebo effect, we see here 39. Choose a D, as we see from here. Like many preliminary scientists report, shows study raised more than questions. Ultimately, in experimentation, the study will document at least some acupuncture point goes to the brain. 35. Some aspect of how, yeah, because now more questions that they says raise more question than answered. That's like opening up. They have to study more about this. And then question number 40. A new line of research topic would be G. The old one are answered. So they have to find a new, like goes through the, new thing, ultimately experimentation. Okay. And then 34, last one. Increased visual cortex activity is J. It says right here. On the eyes, but not outside the foot. Okay. Okay, that's it for reading section. I'll come back for science section as well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.